Philip Mpango, Minister of Finance and Planning, Professor Adolf Mkenda, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Foreign Affairs and East African Community, Mr. Philemon Luhanjo, Chairman of the Board of Trustees of ESRF, Her Excellency Katarina Ringat, Ambassador from the Embassy of Sweden, Dr. Tausi Akida, Executive Director for ESRF, Professor Joseph Stiglitz, a Nobel laureate from Columbia University, Professor Kaushik Basu from Cornell University, Professor Sabina Alkire from Oxford University, and recognizing your excellencies who are here, permanent secretaries, director generals, directors, professors, doctors, heads of institutions, captains of industry, distinguished guests and attendees, the media and my colleagues. Good morning.
On behalf of the management and staff of Economic and Social Research Foundation, I would like to take this opportunity to welcome you all to the ESRF 7th Annual Conference, which is being organized jointly by Economic and Social Research Foundation, Embassy of Sweden and Tanzania, and Ministry of Finance and Planning. We at the Economic and Social Research Foundation are very delighted to collaborate with you, Honorable Guest of Honor, and all distinguished guests in this very special occasion. My role this morning is to welcome you, Honorable Guest of Honor, and all distinguished guests, participants to the conference. Honorable Guest of Honor, it has already been mentioned that the theme of this year's conference is Equitable Growth and Human Development in Resource-Based Economy, Dialogue on the Stockholm Statement for Tanzania. The objective of this conference is to discuss and identify key priorities and recommendations for economic policy choices to support inclusive economic development in Tanzania.
Firstly, the combination of perspectives and hence the holistic view on development. We have finally understood that solving one thing does not automatically solve all other things. There is no invisible hand, and things do not happen automatically. Development is not only about GDP growth, but more importantly about improved well-being for all and about the respect for human rights. This holistic view on development is also reflected in the 2030 Agenda, with its focus on social, economic and environmental sustainability, which Sweden and Tanzania are both strongly committed to. But this holistic approach makes policymaking much, much harder. By hosting the Stockholm Statement event, Sweden wanted to facilitate policymaking with a holistic view on development.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me confess that I'm excited by the theme of the conference. I'm excited because ever since I was nominated to be a member of parliament and minister responsible for finance and planning, I've had to grapple with three recurring questions from parliamentarians, the media, and members of the general public. And the first question has been, why is it that Tanzania remains poor when in fact it is, literally speaking, endowed with everything to make it happy? The second question stems from the fact that Tanzania has sustained robust macroeconomic performance record over the past 2 decades, with real GDP growth averaging 6.5%, to become among the top 10 fastest growing economies in Africa. Yet this high growth has not been felt in terms of significant improvement in the lives of ordinary citizens. The poverty reduction rate has simply not been commensurate with the high growth of the economy. And this outcome has in turn led to a number of follow-up questions in search of answers to what has gone wrong. And these are really around a re-examination of the sources and quality of this growth, adequacy of the quantum of growth in net terms, that is taking into account population growth, duration of growth, its spatial distribution, particularly looking at the urban-rural dichotomy and regional dimensions, degree of participation in the fastest growing sectors, as well as linkages between the main sectors of the economy and the most dynamic ones. Before I conclude my remarks, I would like once again to thank the Economic and Social Research Foundation and the Embassy of Sweden for organizing such a great conference.
The moment we depart from leaving everything to the market, it means we go back to the question of social welfare function. How do you define it? What do you put into it? What are you trying to maximize? So we must define our common aspirations. And then, of course, there are issues of measurement that we must continue to grapple with. It doesn't get any easier, but you cannot run away from the challenge. Thank you very much.
There were 4 people named everybody, somebody, anybody, and nobody. There was an important job to be done, and everybody was asked to do it. Everybody was sure somebody would do it. Anybody could have done it, but nobody did it. Somebody got angry about that because it was everybody's job. Everybody thought anybody could do it, but nobody realized that everybody would not do it. It had ended up that everybody blamed somebody when nobody did what anybody could have done. So let's do something.